Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my Making Benjamins channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing some of my thoughts as to what financial freedom is, as well as what mentality you need to achieve it. Now, Investopedia defines financial freedom as having enough savings, investments, and cash on hand to afford a lifestyle you want for yourself and your family. And MoneyFit defines it similarly. It means having enough income or savings to cover your expenses, giving you the freedom to live life on your own terms. However, my favorite definition of financial freedom comes from Nasdaq. It says financial freedom means having enough income, savings, and investments to live the life you desire without relying on a traditional job. When a lot of people are not happy with the income they're making, they immediately seek another job. Although in your mind having another job is more secure, it is only a temporary solution to a long-term problem. That is the problem of forming a habit of trading your time and energy for your money. If you're not laboring, the income stops. And if you're always laboring, you're too busy to think of alternative ways of earning. Hence, the hamster wheel continues to turn. To start your journey to financial freedom requires a hard choice. You have to step outside of your comfort zone, your work environment, when even there is no need to. Your job can seem to run 24/7, the company can afford to run 27, but can you? Would you rather put in more work to educate yourself financially now, when you still have a choice, or find yourself pushed to a corner when one day you can no longer stand or be able to remain in your job? It is a difficult choice because the benefits are not apparent. That's why most people opt for the path of certainty. On the other hand, those who choose to challenge their thinking can expand their worldview and come up with many more safety nets to improve their living situation. They might not become millionaires in their lifetime, but then again, being financially free has nothing to do with if you're making millions or not. Being financially free means that without a job, your income can substantially cover your expenses. I'm sure you have heard of celebrities like Nick Cage, Johnny Depp, and Mike Tyson, who filed for bankruptcy all because of their excessive spending habits. In contrast, one person you may have never heard of is Stanley F. Schmidt. He is the author of the Life of Fred series and used to be a full-time high school teacher. He retired from high school and college teaching in 1980. At the age of 36 years old. As he puts it, I, your author, do not need gobs of royalty money at this point to pay my light bills. The only difference between the two groups of people is the ability to have financial awareness. The first trap is to avoid spending excessively and the over-reliance on credit. You have to learn to chase value, not money. You have to decide on what things drive you early on. The why of why you want to become financially free has to be the constant, because how you will get there will certainly change. Do you value your time and freedom more than security? Do you value comfort over discomfort? Do you value feeling good in your mind more or feeling good in your pocket? By pursuing freedom, the concept of money is going to have to mean much more to you than what you can use it for. Wealth does not mean high income, but how much of that income you can keep after taxes, utility payments, and your expenses on all of the things you spend. The other payments that continuously eat into your wealth are called liabilities. Any mortgage, maintenance fees, costs of eating out, and depreciating goods like cars fall under this category. For some people, after covering their liabilities, there's nothing left. For others, like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and Ray Dalio, they have their assets to fall back on. Assets are not just valuable things you own, but they should also have the potential to generate cash flow by themselves. For example, investments and businesses. Many people also think that their house is their best asset, but all depends on how quickly it can put money into your pocket, as opposed to taking it out. When you buy a house, you have to pay the mortgage, utilities, property tax, etc. While all of this goes into the value of the home when you sell it, A key consideration is how much an appreciating house is going to put into your pocket versus what you have paid for it. Unless you are either selling the house or renting it out, you should make a space in your mind to put the house under the column of depreciating assets. While mentality of saving is always beneficial, the difference between living life on a constrained budget and being free is knowing how to identify and acquire assets while minimizing your liabilities. This is the fast track to reducing debt and achieving early retirement. This process does take practice and patience, so some of you might think it's risky. However, you should know that risk is commonplace if you travel in the fast lane. The more avenues you have, the faster you'll get there, and the less you're exposed to said risk. You should try to develop multiple income streams, for the same reason why seasoned investors choose to have diversified baskets with safe stocks in their portfolio. These income streams can be in the form of investments, businesses, rentals, etc. Now, let's say you have been able to attain your desired lifestyle and your gross income is at or exceeds the $1 million benchmark. Your problems should be solved, right? Well, if you decided to stay in the comfortable range of making a couple million, that is perfectly manageable. What if you decided to scale it up to a couple of billions of dollars? Well, money brings comfort, but what does it bring when you're already at a comfortable point? When people are barely scraping by, they don't exactly care to hear about rich people problems. But it's only human nature to find themselves on the side where the grass is greener, only to then complain that there's too much grass and not enough flowers. This mentality can be symptomatic of greed and abuse, or just endless worry. Back when he was the third richest man in China, Jack Ma said, "I'm not interested in money because my happiest times were when I was a teacher making 91 renminbi a month." It is Ma, so he might be bullshitting, but we'll never know until you are in that position. One thing for certain is that once you surpass the green zone of less than $1 million or 1 to half a million, the psychological toll increases. The more you make, the more you have to lose, and psychologically, losing a couple million in a day can be jarring. When a spider builds a mega web, it can be disorienting if one part goes into disarray, because everything affects everything else. By making themselves more visible financially, these rich moguls are also under the eyes of heavy business regulations and tax official scrutiny. Not to mention they also have to keep in mind the well-being of their managers and employees on all levels. One lawsuit can result in a monumental loss. This is why a lot of the wealthier families prefer to remain reclusive, to not add public attention to their list of complexities. Influential Russian writer Leo Tolstoy once said, "All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way." While this might be true, I would also argue that all unhappy families are plagued by the same misfortune, or the lack of control. If you get to the point where you can make more than you can control, you naturally become less happy. Okay, you say, so why don't they just give more money away to those less fortunate if it is such a problem? That would be nice. Unfortunately, most don't have money on them, or not in the form that you're familiar with. Remember, those who are in a position of freedom chase value, so they're actually sitting on a mountain pile of value in the forms of economic activity, job creation, and all of their other assets, not large sums of money in your checking account. We will explain this in more detail in a future video. In the end, the path to financial freedom is really just our path to happiness. It requires us to ask tough questions about ourselves, face the uncertainty, and adapt accordingly. So as you embark on your journey, remember to stay curious, open-minded, and most importantly, stay hopeful. With determination and discipline, anything is possible. Until next time, keep striving and keep making those Benjamins.